Bro, when people, what I got from that is he's a hater. You don't know me as a person. Let's say you don't like.
Don't see the weight difference. They see Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis.
Yeah.
And if Gervonta Davis doesn't fuck up Jake Paul, they're gonna think Jake Paul is some pound for pound champion.
Big for Tank, you know. In reality, he's way too big.
Gervonta Tank Davis just erupted after hearing Floyd Mayweather predict an early knockout victory for Jake Paul. The tension between Tank and his former mentor has been simmering for years, but this latest comment from Mayweather seems to have pushed him over the edge. According to insiders, Davis felt completely disrespected by Floyd's public praise of Jake Paul, a YouTuber turned boxer who's been angling for legitimacy in the sport. What started as a casual prediction quickly spiraled into a full-blown feud, with Davis firing off heated responses online and calling out Floyd for selling out the sport for clout. What I got from that is he's a hater. You don't know me as a person. Let's say you don't like me like you don't know me like you feel me, and I don't give a I mean, where same question for you, my father. From the moment this fight was announced, the physical mismatch has dominated the discourse. Veteran champion Terence Crawford left little doubt about his view when he said bluntly that Jake is too big for Tank. He elaborated that while Davis is very talented, can punch hard, and is explosive, the sheer size of Paul changes the dynamic in fundamental ways. He went so far as to warn that if Jake lands one good punch on Tank, it's over with. Wanted to get your take on the Jake Paul vs Tank Davis. They just announced the fight. What's your instant reaction to that? I don't have no reaction, you know. I don't know what's going to happen with 135-pounder going up against a 200-pounder, you know. If it's scripted, then it's going to be good for the fans to watch. What do you mean by scripted? Like rigged? Yeah, like scripted. But none of those guys want a underscore AL, right? I think it's not a real fight. I think it's because it can't be a real fight because they ain't in the same weight. So, it'd be more like an exhibition. I think it is an exhibition, but do you think they're but not one person saying yo, I'm going to underscore A throw the match? You think? I don't think, yeah. I think they're going to go in there and spar. I don't think it's going to be you trying to kill me, or I'm trying to kill you, you know? I think it's let's go in here and make this money. Former MMA champion Daniel Cormier echoed this sentiment from a combat sports perspective. On his channel, Cormier repeatedly questioned the fairness of pairing Davis with Paul, citing the dramatic weight difference. He said, "The problem is that Jake is much bigger. It's hard to look at this fight and think it's fair." In his view, boxing's traditional framework, where fighters compete within their weight class to ensure roughly even physical dimensions, has been sidestepped here. That leads to the possibility that the better boxer could still lose because the physical disadvantage is too steep. Boxing gets ridiculous. Gervonta Davis is fighting Jake Paul. Yesterday, they had their first press conference. One of the most recognizable things is Jake Paul is huge compared to Gervonta Davis. Music, and two, Gervonta Davis don't even know what weight they fighting. Laughter, maximum weight of 195 pounds for this exhibition. It was 190. The fight will be contested over 10 3-minute rounds. I said it was 190. The fight is 195 pounds Tank. As you know, adding to the perception of the mismatch, Cormier and others repeatedly pointed to the enormous weight gap. As one report noted, Davis last competed around 136 pounds, whereas Paul in recent bouts has weighed nearly 200 pounds. Cormier said Jake Paul has been able to carve out and make his own lane in boxing. But how can you take those sanctioning organizations seriously when they are sanctioning this mismatch? That framing further supports the idea of the size advantage not just being advantageous, but borderline overwhelming. Yo, so Jake Paul is fighting Gervonta Davis. I'm serious. It's real. 199 in Paul's last fight, 133. 8 for Davis in his last fight. I discussed that and so much more at 5 p.m. p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. m. Pacific at my YouTube channel. The link will be in my bio. But hey, I thought he was going to fight Anthony Joshua. How do you end up from Anthony Joshua to Tank Davis? I discuss. Gervonta Davis recently addressed the backlash he's faced by pointing to a recurring pattern, stating that when someone is in the spotlight too long, people want someone else to take their place. That's what happened with Floyd Mayweather. People saw him too much, and once they saw him too much, they started